Hi, thanks for having me today. I want to talk about the conflict between FC Barcelona and La Liga, and more importantly, how that conflict could be managed in a way that's not escalating. Let me start by explaining what this conflict looks like from both sides. From FC Barcelona's point of view, it's mainly an identity conflict. For a long time, especially during Franco's dictatorship, the club became one of the only public spaces where Catalans could express their culture and their language, and um, that's where the idea of a Mesqueon club came from. I probably botched that pronunciation, but looking at today, that history still matters. Fans expect the club to stand for Catalonia and for democratic expression, but at the same time, Barcelona is a massive global business that relies on La Liga to survive financially. So the club is stuck in kind of a role conflict, trying to represent culture values while also protecting its commercial feature. From La Liga's perspective, the conflict looks very different. For them, this is a governance and structural issue. La Liga operates under Spanish law, and its priority is keeping the league stable, legitimate, and politically neutral. If Catalonia became independent and Barcelona stayed in the league, that would raise serious legal and organizational issues. So it's not a simple disagreement. It has multiple layers, and it involves identity, law, economics, power, those types of things. So both FC Barcelona and La Liga share some really important mutual interests. First is money, second is global reputation, third is stability. The money side of it, matches like El Clasico are some of the most valuable sporting events in the world. TV rights, sponsorships, the audiences that are there globally. Both sides benefit massively from that rivalry continuing. Global reputation, La Liga's international brand is strongly tied to clubs like Barcelona. Losing Barcelona would hurt the league far beyond just Spain. And then third is stability. Neither side wants uncertainty, legal battles, or chaos that could screw with investors and players and fans and that type of just loyalty and ability to remain stable. When you're not looking at politics, both sides just want a strong league. They want global relevance and they want long-term success. So the way that they need to communicate, because that's really where this issue stems from overall, the first thing that has to happen is a shift away from political positions and toward shared interests. Instead of arguing about independence versus unity, the conversation needs to focus on stability and economic survival. Active listening to the other party is also key. As with any communication, listening is a big portion. Barcelona needs to feel that its identity as a culture is being represented and respected. Even if La Liga doesn't support independence, Barcelona does, and they need to feel heard in that way. La Liga's position needs to be understood as institutional, not ideological. So both sides need to hear the other person out. Using a neutral third party to facilitate discussions could help. It lowers emotion, removes personal attacks, and keeps the focus on problem solving. Most of this communication should also happen behind closed doors. There's no need for it to be super public until a decision has been made or an agreement has been come to. So the negotiation should work integratively. That's the best way for this to be approached. This is not a situation where one side wins and the other loses. That would damage relationships long term with the league and Barcelona. Instead, integrative bargaining focuses on finding a solution that protects both sides' interests. That could mean conditional agreements, transitional arrangements, or solutions that are based on sporting rules rather than political symbolism. Just kind of finding a way to satisfy both parties. Things that could get in the way of this. Strong personalities is a big one. They could escalate the conflict quickly, especially when leaders feel pressure to make public statements. The media is also a huge role in this agreement. The more public this conflict becomes, the harder it is for either side to back down without losing face. And then symbolic pressure. Just Barcelona supporters expect moral leadership while La Liga faces national scrutiny. So it makes compromises on both sides a little bit difficult. And there are legal constraints. Any solution has to fit within Spanish law, which limits flexibility. In closing, essentially, it's about identity versus structure and values versus governance. If both sides focus on what they actually share, which is money, stability, global relevance, and use integrative negotiation with smarter communication, it's a very manageable conflict between the two organizations. I hope that my ideas can help Barcelona and La Liga move from confrontation to cooperation without either side losing what matters most to them. Thank you for your time.